The Monday, February 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors to order. Mr. Barlow.
I move that we convene in closed session pursuant to the following subsections of Virginia Code 2.23711. 1. In accordance with 2.23711A1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body, and 2, in accordance with Section 2.23711A5, discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry in the Mountain Road District where no previous announcement has been made of the business or the industry interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community.
Been properly moved and seconded. We go into closed session. Yeah, he did. Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're in closed session.
Second open session.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We go back into open session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will now poll members to certify that to the best of your knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as identified in the motion for which closed meeting was convened were discussed and considered by the board. If any member believes that the board varied from the purposes stated for the closed meeting, please state so. And the reason prior to casting your vote, Mr. McCotter.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Williams. Yes. Mr. Barlow.
Yes.
Mr. Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Woodward.
Yes.
All right, we're back into open session. This is the Monday, February 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to welcome those of you who are in attendance here in the public meeting room and those that are watching online. Tonight, we will start this meeting as we do every meeting with the invocation tonight by Mr. Williams, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would care to join us, please stand.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for who you are and what you've done for us through the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ, Father. Father, I pray for this assembly here tonight. I pray that you'll give us the wisdom to consider things and to make wise decisions, Father. Thank you for the people we serve. Thank you for the men and women who serve us every day afar in our military service here, through our first responders in our sheriff's office. And Father, thank you so much for just giving us a mind to think clearly. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item of business this evening is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I have two items I'd like to add.
All right.
Number one, a resolution authorizing General Services Department to proceed with the purchase of some equipment. And number two was adding a deputy clerk position for the clerk of court for the balance of the year.
Second.
Both of those under
New business.
new business?
Yes, sir.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as it's amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next up is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, been properly moved and seconded. We approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We approve the bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We don't have any in-person recognitions here this evening. I do know Mr. Williams has a comment to make.
Yeah, we approved at the last meeting a recognition honoring Mrs. Frances West Byers on the occasion of her 110th birthday. Her 110th birthday was January 25th of this year. She was born in 1915, to give you some perspective on that one.
Amazing.
Her health is good. Her mind is sharp and clear, and I'm going to go with her son, Dan Byers, and we're going to present this to her in person. And I just wanted to say that tonight, what a remarkable thing it is to have, she's raised 3 girls, 4 boys, and has 113 grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. So anyway, what a blessing she's been blessed. Anyway, I just wanted to announce that here. It's worthy of recognition more so than just in her house. I think she's going to maybe get some of the paper to come down when we do it, maybe take some pictures or submit something. So
Well, God bless her and happy birthday to her. Next up is the public comment period. This is a time for anyone to address the board on anything that is not a public hearing. We do not have any public hearings tonight. When I call your name, you can come to the podium, state your name and your voting district. You'll have 3 minutes. This is a time for you to address the board. The board does not usually engage in a back and forth conversation with the person speaking. When you have 15 seconds, I'll give you that warning. I do have one card, and that is, where is it? Andrew Briggs.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Andrew Briggs, and I am in the Patrick Henry district.
My wife and I have been residents for about 14 years, but coming to Louisa for all kinds of good stuff that Louisa offers, including the Louisa County Fair. We've raised our kids, and now they're gone, and now we're here. So anyhow, I'm here because I'd like to just address the fact that I've seen some great numbers come across about the indoor aquatic center. And I recently learned how to swim with my head underwater at the Louisa Aquatic Outdoor Facility here. And I've really learned through a gentleman named Tyson over here, and I've met him at the pool and watched him swim. He swims like there's no tomorrow, and he keeps his head in the water. And so I had to learn how to do what he's doing, and I'm still learning how to do that. And his wife, Stav, we've met through the pool. But what I wanted to say is that I've been going to the Charlottesville YMCA during the winter to swim, and I've noticed Louisa County school buses pull up with kids, and they're learning how to swim, I think, during their school day. Either they've hijacked the bus and demanded to go, or it's an approved item. So anyhow, I've watched that. I've watched some folks at the pool spending. I'm there every day. They're at opening, and sometimes come back for a couple times during the day at the swimming time. I've learned that a lot of the employees there, the guards, are the local high school kids, and I've seen some great lifelong deals that they're learning, skills that they'll carry on through their lifetime. Working with coworkers, managing the pool. They're a sharp bunch of kids, and it's a tribute to Louisa County, I believe. But also, I've watched some elderly folks with some health issues. One young lady brings her husband who's had some health issues and challenges. It's accessibility with the chairlift that brings him down out of his wheelchair into the water. And it helps her reset her mind from the care that she gives to him, and it helps him as he's in the water, and therapeutically it's a lovely thing to see. Myself, I've watched young kids get lessons. I've seen the sheriff's buses pull up during the summer with Officer Chuck Love, I believe, and host a bunch of kids that otherwise would be out there, vandalizing our homes or whatever. But anyhow, they're out there learning some great things, and they're at their pool with some structure is what I've seen, So I'm here just to say, hey, we're a bunch of residents are together, and we met a lot of people through what I call Club Louisa. It's a beautiful place to hang out, and some folks today wrote, hey, if this thing gets going, we'd like to see a diving board.
15 seconds.
And I'm going I'm sorry. Yes, and another one wants a heated pool from 85 to 87 degrees, but what we all want is for you to see that and know that there's a bunch of us out there that would benefit greatly from it, and I believe the town would too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right, I do not have any other cards. Is there anyone else that would wish to speak during public comment period? Yes, sir.
Mitchell Sasser, Louisa District. In my role as editor of the Central Virginian, I've addressed the Board of Supervisors several times over the past year about change in public notice requirements in Virginia and the merits of Louisa County returning those notices to their local newspaper of record. The January 30th, 2025 edition of the Central Virginian was our first paper in over 19 months to feature those notices. So I did just want to use this opportunity to thank the county for working with our staff in a way to ensure this process continues to be smooth moving forward. We are hopeful that this new software platform, Columns, will give the county staff a user experience that ensures these timely and important public notices are able to be advertised in the most efficient way that both reach the intended audience of Louisa residents and maximize engagement with the policies and decisions that impact them. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else that would wish to address the board during public comment period? All right, seeing none, I will close the public comment period and move on to information and discussion items. The first is a presentation, which is VDOT's quarterly update. Mr. Thornton. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, board members, Mr. Chairman. So for, I guess I was supposed to be here in December, but y'all didn't want to see me in December, so here in February. So maintenance crews have been working, catching on normal roadside developments. We have started pipe replacement and patching in advance of the annual resurfacing. Got started earlier this year, so hopefully we're not running
right back on each other this year. We've also got ditching DMI will be back starting on the east end of the county over the next 2 weeks. So Mr. Williams, Mr. Barlow, that's the same truck that loads everything up.
That's
Yep.
the one that, like, augers out the ditch and
Yes,
they
sir.
put it in the truck.
Yes, sir. So they'll be east working west starting in the next couple of weeks. We've also been working on the Route 640 bridge project. So they ran into some issues on one of the abutments and had to rebuild that in addition to some of the weather delays we experienced in January. So that schedule has been updated to the first half of March for that road to be reopened back up. The second meeting of the Hamilton Road Bridge stakeholders was held last week. So I think we're making some decent progress on that. We've got the third meeting set for the end of February, beginning of March. And then the Bellmead Road Bridge project, that has been awarded to a contractor, and they are working on getting a schedule updated for that project. So as soon as I have updates on that, I'll send that out to staff and to
How
yourself.
long you anticipate that to be closed?
They're looking at about a year.
Wow.
So,
Really?
yeah. So that's with a detour. The original plan was something like 18 months if they flagged it. So the detour just lets them get in there and do it, but it's a lot of work that's got to be done with that structure. So, then I've got some updates. So with smart scale scoring, unfortunately, there were no Louisa projects in the pool recommended to move forward this year. The best scoring one was the Route 15, Route 22, out of 270 statewide submissions. That one scored 103rd. It was number 16th in the district. The benefit cost for that project was right in line. The total cost estimate for improvements was around $20 million. So it was right in line cost benefit wise. But just funding this year, there was funds taken off the top, about a third of what's normally available to cover inflation adjustments for the already funded projects, as well as some maintenance projects. And in most years, you have about 160-ish projects get funded. This year, only 53 projects were moved forward.
We were 103rd,
And there was a 103rd, that was 103rd for 15 and 22.
but we missed it by 50 slots.
And that's 50 statewide projects?
53 projects statewide, yes, ma'am.
Do you happen to have a breakdown of how many of those projects went to Northern Virginia?
I did not, but
52.
in the score,
52, maybe?
in the score sheet that I'm going to send to staff tomorrow, it'll have it by district, how many projects were awarded.
You're going to share that with the board?
Yes, I
Yeah,
can share-
please.
Yeah, it's in the Smart Scale portal now.
Okay.
But I'm going to send the link out
Thank
Very
you.
good.
to everyone. 250, 208 ranked 123rd, and 250-15 was ranked 150. Those scored a little lower in the benefit cost, just there were other items. Congestion doesn't weigh as heavily in rural areas, as well as there were accessibility things. You don't have sidewalks because there's not sidewalks in that location to help with scoring. So,
We could put them in.
I would say, moving forward, we've got TAP and revenue sharing meetings coming up, as well as the next round of Smart Scale to start preparing for. So I do think that 15 and 22 is a strong project. So maybe that just needs a little bit more of a touch, and then the rest of them we can revisit when the time comes.
So in your opinion, because a lot of the criteria smart scales not really attractive to a rural or semi-rural county, what would be the one action Louisa could take that would increase the scoring of smart scale?
You can put money on the project. That would be the biggest thing to buy down some of the cost, and that gets the benefit cost score to go up.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Okay.
That's my report. If anybody has any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
I do. Well, I have kind of two things. Since we've had all this ice, I've noticed across the across Green Springs, and I'm assuming it's probably across the state and across the county. There's potholes that have really come up. Are you all working on those?
Yes,
to
ma'am,
get-
every day.
Okay, good, because I noticed right there on 15 by Camp Creek, there's two large ones that I dodged around because I thought my tire would bottom out.
Y'all got dirt roads up there in Green Springs, right?
No, this is not dirt roads. These are paved Route 15. Also, I don't know if there's anything that can be done, but I am noticing a trend. I'm seeing it more and more of people trying to cross Route 15 from the Walmart, where Walmart is, and where the hotels are. And maybe these are traveling people, and I've seen them, like families, trying to cross that intersection, and it's at night. I've seen a couple, and one had a dog and two small kids, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna be good.
You mean on foot?
On foot.
Okay.
Pedestrian crossings, and there is no pedestrian crossing there, and I don't know if there's any way we can deter it and signs for no pedestrian crossing, or if lights, or if there's something we can do, because that is not the intersection. And I don't believe they're locals. But I think, well, it's scary when they've got kids with them. I think they're trying to get to the restaurants, the fast food over on the other side. They're coming out of the new hotels, the new hotel, and maybe even the Best Western. That's a little hairy, and I've seen multiple people at different times trying to cross there.
Okay.
And the Route 15 project, the resurfacing maintenance, how's that moving along? You might have talked about that in the beginning, and I might have overlooked that.
So that's currently underway. The contractor's been working on that. I'm sure you've seen the shoulder work, ditching, things like that. So they're moving along on that one.
Okay.
I have no reason to believe that,
There's any holdups.
they're in the next year and a half, they won't be where they should be.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thornton, thank you for being here tonight. Missed you in December. I have the same questions tonight as I would have had for you in December.
okay.
3 road projects in the Louisa District. It's been almost a year since they were requested. One of them, I think you feel like is finished. That's the one on Courthouse Road.
You don't traffic study requests?
Correct.
Yes.
The one on Courthouse Road was requested to be from Yanceyville Road to the town of Louisa limits, and to look at possibly taking the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit out south on Courthouse Road a little farther, and the possibility of lowering the speed limit before Yanceyville Road coming into town, so north, have a step down there to 45 miles an hour instead of going from 55 to 35. The last time we talked, which was probably September, maybe, you said that you thought they were getting ready to put a new 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign up where the old one was. And I think they did that. You had said in town near the Tractor Supply, but I think this was just before you get to Holland Creek Road.
They slid it back.
Right, just a tad. Okay, and certainly appreciate that. But, so that's finished. There's nothing for the 45-mile-an-hour step down or any of that.
That is correct.
Okay.
So they did a study on that, and that's where the limit should be.
Okay, okay. The other two, the first one's Oakland Road. Speed limit study on that road. Haven't heard anything about that. I believe you told me that that one and Louisa Road at Trevilian's were both probably put out to a contractor maybe?
The Louisa Road one was completed last month. So when that one is signed, I can send that over to you. I can tell you that no modifications to the speed limit were recommended.
Okay, how about Oakland Road?
Oakland Road, let me follow up on it, and I'll get you an email on that one.
Okay. Did they give any reasons, do they give reasons why they decided not to do it? Because
Yes,
we
so
had
they-
asked to maybe lower it to 45 and to take the passing lane out.
Yes, so they looked at both of those. So there are no incidents to indicate that there's any operational deficiencies with the speed. So there are no accidents or any safety concerns with the speed as currently posted.
How far do they look back on accidents?
They look back on average 5 to 7 years.
And they found no accidents at the intersection
of 33 and 22.
Without having the study specifically in front of me, I can't say that, but
That's fair.
there was not enough for them to recommend a speed modification.
Okay. All right, and you'll let me know about the Oakland Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
three quick ones for you. Mr. Thornton, thank you for coming to Louisa. Always good to see you, and very interesting to speak with you. In Cuckoo District, a lot of our residents are really excited about a new neighbor by the name of AWS, and they are really working hard on their job site, and we're looking forward to all that would bring us. We're also enduring a little bit too, and with great things comes some endurance. My question to you is, should the road that was just repaved, Kentucky Springs, I don't know, should it deteriorate to a point that it needs repairs due to the truck traffic? And they're going to start bringing in more and more heavier things. They're bringing in gravel now. I'm sure there are going to be some big concrete forms for the buildings coming in. How does VDOT handle that? Just so I can let my constituents know.
So, whenever they come in to get a permit, like for their entrances and things, especially if they're doing a big project like this, what our folks do is they'll ride the road prior to issuing the permit, take video footage of the road, and then it's written actually into the permit language that if they do damage to our roadway as a result of the construction, then the contractor or the applicant is basically on the hook for doing the repairs.
They've been great neighbors, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody
How do you
knew that.
prove that?
What's that?
How do you prove that?
We video the road before
How do you
they
prove
issue.
it was them?
I've never had to run into.
I mean, I'm
situations.
just curious. I mean, you know, there's, let's say there's the traffic on that road in the summer is 1,000 vehicles a day, and they put 200 of them up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how would you?
But if somebody's running an overloaded vehicle up and down the road a bunch of times, we're going to get the first call, and then I'll send the permit inspector out there to watch the traffic. And then we kind of go from there.
I'm just curious. I mean, I've never heard that before. Permit language in their VDOT entrance permit that says if you damage the road, we will bill you.
Part of the site permit as well. So we put that all in the recommendations.
Okay.
Akudo, it looks like I had some constituents that were concerned about a speed limit on Burris Mill Road. I think VDOT came in there and changed it to what the constituents wanted, so thank you for that. Will there be any more paving on Kentucky Springs Road? I know, like Supervisor Woodward just mentioned, that I understood that all of Kentucky Springs Road was going to be repaved, but we got about half of it, and then there was some sectional repaving. So I'm just curious whether that was going to be it, or will we see more paving on Kentucky Springs Road in this year?
Yep, they'll be there. We've told them before Memorial Day. They have to be out. So
They have to be done before Memorial
we
Day.
told them be done before Memorial Day or don't come till Labor Day. So, but that's the plan. So our crews are out there today doing pipe replacements, and they'll be doing some of the small patching in the next few weeks. But we're starting early on that to be able to give the contractor a lot of runway so they can come in and get that work done.
Thank you, Mr. Thornton.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Thornton? I have, yes, sir, go ahead.
Just in dealing with site distance requirements on the secondary roads, I know, can't cite the exact section number, but the site distance triangles that I have are based on and this is just one line of them, but 2 to 3 lane major roads. And I cannot find anything that addresses secondary roads. Have you got any idea where I could go to find that?
It's not in our road design manual.
Not for secondary roads. I find it for 2 to 3 lane major roads, which would be 522, 33, 15, those type of roads. But I don't see a thing that addresses the secondary roads, 623. In other words, if you look at the site distance requirements, for instance, for 55 mile an hour, it's 610 feet,
Right.
which is virtually impossible to get on these secondary roads. it's one thing on the major roads to get that, but the secondary roads, all of the 6-number roads, getting that sight distance is pretty daggone hard, and I don't see anything in the manual that addresses secondary roads as opposed to major roads.
Get you a link.
I mean, if there is such a thing, I mean, I've typed in secondary roads and everything I know to do.
I mean, I have a table sitting on my desk at the office. so
Okay, but
I can, there's
does-
a link, it's available online.
Does
but it's
that
a
address,
table form.
does your chart address secondary roads?
Yes, it goes primary, secondaries, and even for like rurals and subdivisions and stuff.
Okay, that's what I need to find.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Thornton? I have one last thing to follow up with you. And I can't remember if I asked you this or we discussed it or if it was your assistant, I don't know, a couple months ago. But Route 29 south at the Route 3, Route 522 intersection in Culpeper, which is a major thoroughfare for visitors and tourists coming to Lake Anna. That exit is the only exit, I think, that does not have a sign that says Lake Anna, this exit. 64 does, everywhere else does, 95 does. Is there a way that we could look about saying about Lake Anna, this exit, then they get off on Route 3, and I guess it would go east on Route 3, 3/4 of a mile, and then they turn south on 522.
And I'm sorry, can you give me that intersection one more time?
It's Route 29 and Route 3
Okay.
over in Culpeper. And then when they get off on Route 3, they go east, and then Route 522, less than a mile down the road there, they would head south on 522. To my knowledge, that's the only major route that's not marked to get to Lake Anna.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Thornton.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Have a
your
good one.
work.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for your work and your crew's work in this less than optimal weather we had in January.
Have a good night.
Next is a presentation by the Central Virginia Small Business Development Authority. And I'm not sure are you Rosie?
Yes,
Well, Rosie Beachy, right?
yes.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Great. Thank you. Everybody can see the slides?
We can, we're watching here
Oh,
right here in front of
good.
you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me this evening.
Ma'am, use the microphone and we'll be able to hear
I will.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Rosie Beachy. I'm the Assistant Director of the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center, and I'm also the General Business Advisor for all of the rural counties that we cover, including Louisa. Our office is one of 26 small business development centers in Virginia. We have been the highest performing SBDC in Virginia for the past 4 years, thanks to the support we receive from our partner counties like Louisa. Our office offers highly skilled assistance through our personnel and research capabilities. SBDC offers free, confidential, one-on-one advising services to all small businesses in all industries. We also offer free financial and market research, which would be very costly on the open market. We also offer connection to other organizations that may be able to help small businesses where the SBDC does not. By working with an SBDC office, clients show better sales and employment growth than businesses who do not access our services. The Central Virginia SBDC covers 9 counties and the city of Charlottesville. We have a fairly small staff. We have 4 full-time members, including our new center director, Bo Greist. Mason McMurtry is our client services manager. Ariel Vaughn is our assistant director and general business advisor for Albemarle and Charlottesville, and myself. Dan Fellows is a part-time business advisor covering Fork Union. He is funded by an SBA portable assistance grant. The specialists that you see listed below the 5 of us are available to clients as needed and as often as needed. and their specialties include food, QuickBooks, grants, finance, startup and growth strategies, and more. Our clients also have access to the expertise in our state office, which includes export, craft beverage, and innovative capitalization, commercialization programs. They also have access to the programs from our fiscal sponsor, the Community Investment Collaborative, which includes mentoring and financing. And they have additional government contracting help through Apex, which is a division of SBDC. The next couple of slides show our activity in the county for the past year. I hold office hours in the Louisa County Chamber office once a month, and if that timing doesn't work well for a small business, we also meet at the client's site or via Zoom. And we have this year Jess Thompson and Terry Woodworth, who are working under a Go Virginia grant. They've been active in the county as well, connecting rural businesses to our resources as well. We appreciate the support that Tracy Hill Clark and Andy Wade give us in connecting small businesses with the SBDC. The Louisa County Chamber is a great partner to us. Many clients find us through the Business Boost that they hold on a monthly basis and through chamber events throughout the year. We track our numbers on a county basis. During the 2023-24 fiscal year, we worked with 48 clients. We spent 109 hours with those clients. These numbers reflect a leveling off since the COVID years. However, they're still above pre-COVID levels. On the events side, frankly, we've had an open position for our events coordinator since mid-2024. And overall, that affects the number of clients that participate in events and the number of clients that we see. We are actively interviewing for that position. We're hoping that we are going to hire someone this week, and we will see those numbers rebound in 2025. The numbers that you see on this slide, the jobs, capital investment, and business starts, we rely on client feedback in reporting these numbers. So if our clients do not respond to our surveys or a request for data, we cannot report the numbers, which is why you see such great fluctuation in the numbers on this screen. On a positive note, Louisa County businesses reported the highest number of jobs created in all of the rural counties that we covered in 2023-2024. One of the Louisa businesses we had the privilege of working with over the past year is Mad Batter Bakery. Anna Prezio and her daughter Chelsea used our expertise in finance, business planning, pitch preparation, and marketing strategy. They have been a lot of fun to work with, and their products taste great too. I can't stress enough how much we appreciate the support you give the SBDC. Early last week, we were taught a very valuable lesson. The federal funding that we've received through SBA is not fully guaranteed for SBDC programs. We are also not currently funded by the Commonwealth of Virginia. 30 states of the 50 states in the United States do receive funding from their state governments, but we do not from Virginia. Our 10 municipalities that we cover provide 41% of our funding. This year, we are asking Louisa County to continue your support in the amount of $25,737. This is a 5.43% increase over our ask last year and is based on a per capita calculation of 61 cents per person per municipality. Considering our request, and thank you for partnering with us to support the small businesses in Louisa County. Are there any questions?
Well, Rosie, thank you for coming and giving us that presentation today. And prior to you coming today, we had our outside agency budget workshop where we considered your request, which nothing is official, of course, until we vote to actually pass the budget later on in a couple months, but we did tentatively approve the appropriation that you asked for.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So, thank you. Thank you.
I also brought, I don't know if you saw the annual report that we published for your benefit, but if you need a copy, please let me know. I did bring copies for everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Does anybody
you.
else have any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, next is new business action items. The first is a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Louisa County Water Authority and the Louisa County Board of Supervisors for easement maintenance. Is that Mr. Kuhn?
I can take care of
All
that.
right.
If you have any detailed questions, I may ask Mr. Kuhn, but this is an MOU between the county and the Water Authority. The Water Authority needed some assistance, potentially outside assistance, maintaining some right-of-way where their utilities are located. Through working with General Services and Parks and Recreation, we identified the capability to potentially do that here if we had the equipment, using our staff in some of the times of the year when they're less busy doing grounds work like now. And so under this MOU, the Water Authority would provide $160,000, some of which the county has funded to the Water Authority in the past. The county would then purchase the equipment, which is, I believe, just south of $200,000. It would consist of a skid steer and a mulcher and a bush hog. The county would maintain ownership of the equipment. Maintenance would be a shared, this is all set forth in the MOU. Maintenance is shared between the Water Authority and the county. If major maintenance is necessary based on one party's usage, that party would pay for the maintenance. General maintenance would be all maintenance requests, regardless of whether they're funded by the county or the Water Authority, would be handled by the county. The MOU also stipulates that any personnel who are using the equipment have to be trained and certified in using skid steers to make sure that we're taking care of the equipment. And the MOU has a period of 10 years, and either party can terminate the MOU. There's a termination clause where either party can terminate. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I think this is a significant savings over having an outside party perform these services for us.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
If we needed to use it in another area of the county, we can use it like Parks and Rec or something?
Yes.
Not
It's ours.
just-
Yes.
Okay, it
That
is
is
ours.
correct.
Okay.
So move. Second.
If I could add, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wood.
I was hoping I was going to be able to make a motion, but that's okay. Appreciate it. As Mr. Goodwin said, this has been an amazing process. The Water Authority had one bid to clear the right-of-way. The Water Authority right now has 61 miles of water line and sewer line right-of-ways. I mean, I think that's pretty incredible myself, but had no idea it was that much. Some of that right-of-way hadn't been cleared for years. The right-of-way that goes from Ferncliff to Route 6, that's the James River water line that's ours. That's actually, majority of it's in the REC, Central Virginia Electric Cooperative's right-of-way. Well, as they clear, they have a company that clears their part of the right-of-way. They've been taking that brush and putting it on our right-of-way, the Water Authority's right-of-way. So it's a mess right now, and it needs to be cleaned big time. A lot of elevation changes and stuff. You can't just go in there with a bush hog and do it. Takes a big piece of equipment. Same with the line that goes from Ferncliff to Zion Crossroads. So we needed this piece of equipment. This company had it. They were going to charge $8,000 a mile. And the Water Authority figured it was at least 20 miles that needed to be cleared. So that's $160,000 for just one time, and then that's it. That one time. So this is going to do that with a little bit more than that added, and we will own the piece of equipment. It's going to be a John Deere. It matches the piece of equipment that the General Services already has. A lot of parts are interchangeable, a lot of the attachments, so it can work on some equipment that they have already, vice versa. So it is pretty amazing, as Mr. Goodwin says, that we had a lot of entities involved, and we're able to come up with a very workable MOU on this. So it's a job really well done by a lot of folks. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We've had a motion, we've had a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We did have 2 items added. One was a resolution authorizing the General Services Department to proceed with the purchase of said equipment.
Yep, it's
Ms.
just
Scoville.
infusing the budget in from the Water Authority where they gave us the 160,000.
Motion.
And the rest is a transfer within our internal budget.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Oh, somebody's got seconded.
Second.
I'll
Oh,
second.
phew, thank
Nope.
goodness.
We got the motion, Mr. Woodward. We couldn't get the second.
Well,
it's like-
probably because of the motion.
It's like pulling teeth around here. Been properly moved and seconded. We approve this resolution. All those in favor
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The next item is the position of a deputy clerk's position in the circuit clerk's office.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the clerk of the court has come, Patty Madison's come to us, and she doesn't ask for a whole lot, and she runs a pretty tight ship over there, and she says the workload's just overwhelming her, so I'd like to move that we add a deputy clerk position for the clerk of the court for the balance of this year, and it is included in next year's budget, so we're just hiring it a little early.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports, Mr. McCotter?
Lake and Anna Advisory Committee met January 23rd. At that meeting, we had some significant accomplishments. We updated the hydro management protocol, which if you don't have to worry, if you don't have hydro near you, that's great. But we do have it at the lake, and we need to make sure that we're managing it properly and with the amount of hydro that we have. So that was updated. That's a protocol that involves Dominion, DWR, as well as the 3 counties. The hydro management plan itself was also approved, which includes a prioritized listing of areas that will be managed using aquatic herbicides as well as grass-eating carp. Also, there's a map of all Lake Anna buoys, something that I have been wanting for many, many years, that is now being completed by our friends in Spotsylvania County. So that's great news.
That's nice.
It'll be very helpful. We're going to be charging the DWR at least $33,000 a year to be using it. Of course, I'm kidding, but
Are you?
well, we need $33,000 to manage the buoys and the hydro, so that would be nice, but we're not going to do that. We will share it. It appears that the General Assembly, I learned today, and our government liaison is our county administrator. He may be able to also elaborate on this, that we have $33,000 in the budget, the state budget, for hydro and buoy management, which we do need badly, because we can't do the job with what we're doing now in volunteers. That is in committee review, and we're waiting for recommendation, if I'm correct about that. Administrator Goodwin.
It is. I can go through all of them now,
That's my report.
or whenever you get to my report, whatever you all want to do.
Expired.
All right. Any other committee reports? All right. Next up is board appointments. Mr.
Chairman,
Yeah, Mr. Barnes.
I'd like to reappoint Transportation Safety Committee, Mr. Choate
Mr. Roberts?
and Mr. Robert Morgan
Okay.
to the ward, though.
There's also Ronnie Roberts has expired on the Transportation Safety Commission, and so is Byron Wilson. Whose district is that? Yours? Well,
No, that's not mine.
well, I would,
Robert Morgan,
well, no, this is not the Water Authority. This is the Transportation Safety Commission.
Choate.
I've taken over
That's mine.
the Transportation Safety Committee. Not taken it over, but we've
And
transferred.
Mr. Roberts retired at the end of the month. so-
Yeah, he
Doug?
did.
So there are 5 appointments in the memo. Are you Are we picking up all of those?
I haven't seen a memo.
The memo's in
Is there
your
a memo?
board packet. Yep, it's in your board packet on page 67.
Okay,
Mr. Michael Choate to the TSC.
Got it.
Choke is one of them.
Yeah, that's it. Elena Whitlock.
Elena Whitlock to the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, and also to the Criminal Community Justice Board. Robert Morgan to the Water Authority, and Miss Betty Dickinson to the Human Services Advisory Board.
Looks
So
like
five.
Looks
total.
like Miss Colvin has also expired on the Rappahannock Juvenile Detention Center. She's expired. Look, you want to be back on that?
Reappoint her too.
So we'll add Miss Colvin to that list too?
Sure.
Is there any others?
Doug Smith has expired from the Water Authority. He's your rep.
He's not, he doesn't want to be appointed.
Okay, so you don't have anybody yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So moved.
All right, I have one to add. In the appointments and board liaisons that we did last week, or last meeting when I was out of town, one was blank, the Louisa County Resource Council would ask for a liaison, and then unless there's someone else that has a burning desire to do that, I would like to act as the liaison on behalf of the board.
I have an appointment too, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to appoint Mark Lethbridge to the Cuckoo District as the Cuckoo District representative to the IDA. Our current representative will serve out the rest of February, and then he is now also the chair of the Fluvanna Louisa Housing Foundation. So it's just it's a matter of timing.
Can you spell his last name, Mr. McCutter?
Yes. Lethbridge.
Thank you.
Mark Lethbridge.
Okay.
Exactly the way I didn't write it down, so.
Good job.
There you go. All right, any other appointments? So do I have a motion?
One, two,
Thank
three,
you.
four,
Second.
five. Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. The
Seven.
board follow these appointments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. County Administrator.
I'll be very brief. Between the board and VDOT, most of my updates have already been taken care of. Just a little further detail on Hamilton Road. Ms. Jones and I were both at that meeting last week, and it seems like we're down to kind of two options. There is a rehabilitation option, which would be the better part of $6 million and take through 2029, 2030 using state funds.
Yep.
or federal funds, I should say.
Federal.
Is it federal or state? Oh, I'm drawing a blank now. I think it might just be state. Anyway, a funding source that would not be just VDOT's control. And then there is a VDOT local funds only option, which would be just under $700,000 and could be accomplished within 12 months.
That seems like two vastly different proposals.
They
I just
are.
want to say that.
It does.
They are.
It does. So I think at the remaining two stakeholders meetings, hopefully we will, VDOT will be able to choose a path of
4
what to do.
years, 7 months.
So we'll keep you posted on that. I'm very glad to have Ms. Jones's capable leadership and representation there, and good harmonious spirit of working in the room together in the room. So, Mr. McCotter covered LAC in detail. I'll hit legislation just to add some finer points to what he said. We got this from our source in the General Assembly last night, so the official documents don't come out until tomorrow. So I don't have amendment numbers to look this up using, but it's my understanding that the House Appropriations Committee has for HAB mitigation in Lake Anna $500,000 in FY26. Senate Finance has another $250 in FY25 and language to allow carryovers from 25 of any remaining funds into 26. So more to come on that. House Appropriations has the $33,000 in for hydrilla and buoy maintenance, and Senate Finance Committee has the $250,000 for HAB freshwater testing across the state in FY25. So some promising potential there in the General Assembly. Stay tuned for further details as we move through crossover week.
I'm just glad to know we have a source in the General Assembly. That's good to know. Mr. Barlow.
Just backing up to the appointments, I see that Thomas Jefferson Area Community Criminal Justice Board has a vacancy. Don't we just filled that, didn't we? Aren't you on that?
The one that you came off of.
Right.
But there was one, I thought that we just appointed
Good.
somebody to that just a
There
few
shouldn't
minutes
be
ago.
any vacant for Louisa for that.
But we just appointed her tonight, so.
That was the Rappahannock
Would
Juvenile
be.
Detention Center.
No.
No, you did one to the Criminal Justice Board tonight as well. Elena,
Elena Whitlock.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
I couldn't
that's
remember
correct.
what
We're quick. It just didn't update that quick.
Hadn't updated yet.
I'm working on it. Refresh your browser.
Just wanted to make real sure that Rachel got on that committee.
Yeah, she is. Any
I'm
other
on it.
any
Yeah,
other
you did wanna
questions
make
for
sure I got on it.
Mr. Goodwin? Mr. Barnes?
So move.
And properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Hit the